Hey Beauty Beans, it's Corinne from Soulshift Channeling, and I'm here for another Pick a Pile channeled Akashic Record reading. So basically what I do is I say a blessing and a prayer. It tunes me into this collective that's going to be watching this video, and I open myself to, in this case, 4 distinct messages that can come through. A lot of it is heavy on image and metaphor. It, in my understanding, allows the medicine and energetic attunement to come into the most specific tight-knit spot in your life that it needs to, without getting bogged down in details. And sometimes metaphor is a way that energy can reach us and continue to train us and stick with us and teach us over time. It's something that can grow with us as well, that we don't have to like lock in the details of. It's a concept that allows our conscious mind to grab onto, so that way our subconscious can like wiggle and move as it needs to. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and tune into the records today. Join me if you will. There will be a collective message at the opening and a collective message at the closing. Find it in the timestamps. Other than that, tune into Group 1, orange, Group 2, yellow, Group 3, green, or Group 4, blue. Orange, yellow, green, and blue. All right, I'll see you there. My center with your center, our center with all centers. Our center is the one center. I enter the realm of masters, teachers, and loved ones of Soulshift's collective, and match our hearts and minds with theirs. Let us find through joy and wisdom the ability to open the universe and ourselves to greater possibility and deeper love. Eternal Source, fill our hearts with clarity and sacred power and show us, the collective's place of balance. Hear us now as we become one with the whole, when we are complete. Release us in love and admiration, keeping our energy raised. The records are open. Okay, my dears. All right, I'm hearing a couple of things. One, we didn't like the homework. Okay, sisters, friends, let me know in the comments. There was a video, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, that included some take-home homework, and I'm hearing that that's not the right way to do it, so we won't do it anymore. But let me know what you think. The first image that I saw, though, is just this need and want to rejoice, not with other, this waiting for permission from, to, and with other people to rejoice, and instead allowing permission to rejoice in and of yourself. A group of one, just you and yourself. Allowing yourself to be the kind of person that celebrates joy and rejoices in wisdom when it's just you alone. This changes it from being I'm hearing performative tool, to being one that is a felt sense in the body. And it's something that's going to allow and open up your body's ability to feel joy with other people. If you learn what it feels like to really celebrate and focus on and understand what it feels like by yourself. I have a feeling that there has been a bit of a performative action with it. Yeah. All right, the second thing that's coming in is like eagle eye, eagle point of view. And it's just a reminder of like, when with your life right now, it's not time to land or even be in the weeds at all. It's an eagle eye point of view. It's taking everything in. It's making sure you keep the big perspective and not focus too much on exactly where you're going, because I feel like you're still quite far off from it. but to know where it is on the horizon, know which direction it's at, and to perhaps not see the exact journey to get there, but to see what kind of views, what kind of things are coming up on your path that will help you be led there. This is translating more like feelings and less physical goods. A way to check in is like, I know I will be heading towards my destination when I feel joy, exuberance, value, worth, gratitude, aliveness, and recognizing like, okay, I'm recognizing that the feelings that are behind me are feeling destitute, feeling lonely, feeling ill at ease. Not that those things can't be on your journey, but just recognizing that those things are going to be more, keep them in the rear view mirror. You know what I mean? If you are coming up upon new feelings and the expansion that's occurring in your life is focused on those old feelings, you might be going the wrong direction. Just take a circle, take a circle, take a circle, and redirect. Does that make sense? Let's clarify one more time. Making sure that you're getting off of the ground and you're getting in the air, you're getting support, you're being supported from the air and the environment around you, riding the waves, not fighting your way through obstacles. So keeping that bird's eye view, keeping yourself elevated and out of the weeds, and then reminding yourself as you're looking at the map to where you're going, reminding yourself the feelings that are going to be signposts along the way, that you know that you're on your path when you're feeling more and more easefulness, when you're feeling more and more gratitude, when these things are coming up naturally. Notice what's happening in your life and remind yourself, I'm on this path and journey. Like I'm headed to the right direction. You don't have to look what each individual step looks like. It's just the feeling more than anything else. And if you're getting major feelings that are bumming you out, that feel like it's connected with where you're going, it's not just clearing out old information, because there's kind of a difference, right? There are feelings that can come up and it feels very clear when those are coming up to come out and they're being shed and you're letting go of them and you're releasing them, versus crossing into new territory and feeling ill at ease. Do you see what I'm saying here? All right, I feel like that's a little bit more clear. Let's go ahead and tune into group 1, orange, group 2, yellow, group 3, green, or group 4, blue. Group 1, orange. Okay, this came up in a reading in the last couple of weeks. Also, I'm seeing a bouncing ball, a basketball specifically, and it's less about the color of it and more about the texture. When you're getting granular control on the environment around you, the tools at your fingertips, it's less about locking in on each of those. Like if you're working with a basketball, right? It's less about your fingers touching each of those specific little nubs, and more about feeling the pressure difference across each of your fingers, right? To feeling where the ball is coming into. Sometimes we can get caught up in the details. Sometimes we can be crossing the T's and dotting the I's and totally losing track that the sentence is not balanced or structured right, that the paragraph is all wrong. Yes, the details are important, my friends, but it's not an excuse to ignore the sentence structure. It's not an excuse to continue to avoid or not look at the larger setup of things. If there's this feeling like something's not right in the gut of your form, right? Something's not right, and that's what needs your attention. I feel like you're putting so much attention and energy on these tiny little dots of the basketball, right? The little pattern on it, and you're totally missing that you're like on a racquetball court, or like you're in the totally wrong location, right? You can be really perfecting your dribble and getting it right and and getting so much information on like which of those dots and where and how it's touching your hands, and it totally negates the fact that you're learning to dribble on the wrong surface, and it's training your body wrong. It's giving you incorrect information. It's not the right environment. You're not attuned to the environment in the correct way, or you're not attuned to the environment that you're meant to be serving. And I heard really loudly, so what do I do in the meantime? Some of you already know you're going to a different location, or that you're changing jobs, that you're going to a different work environment. And what I hear in the meantime is just focusing on the rhythm, focusing on the path, focusing on the pounding of your feet. Again, like what's been coming through lately is like the metronome, right? The tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And now I'm seeing like the in Peter Pan, the alligator, the tick tock alligator, right? And I feel this feeling of like the tick tock, or the timeliness, or the pattern, or the rhythm, or the consistency, or the routine has felt like that alligator. Like it feels yucky in your body. It feels like ill will. It feels like something to be scared of or fearful of. And I'm seeing that there's an unwillingness to get trapped, or you don't want to be bogged down, or consistency is gruel. You know, it's like I'm hearing like the symbol of a life that is dead. And this is so untrue. This is so untrue, my friend. This is so untrue. It's so important to recognize that in your situation, and I'm not talking about all situations, because sometimes rhythm and methodical nature can really be an indicator of a life that is stagnant or stuck. But that's not what's happening to you. That's not what's happening to you. And if not never, then it will be, that's never going to happen. That is never going to happen to you. Because you remember what it feels like to be alive. And when you build structures for yourself and routines and rhythms that help anchor you in the present moment, it allows more of your gifts to come through. It allows more of your magic to come in. It allows you to show up more fully, because your physical form, it's about satisfying this physical form, right? Because when the physical form feels safe, that's when the energetic form can be more present. And that's what we want from you, dear. It's a deeper presence of energetic. So here's a source of inspiration. Not homework, inspiration. Don't even mention homework. Got it. Find ways that you use rhythm already. Find ways that you use habits and routines already in your life. Do you listen to music with a beat? When you walk, do you find yourself walking in a particular rhythm? The reassociation of rhythm in your life can be so helpful right now. All right, and then I'm seeing 2 or 3 people coming in. The first one's present and already with you. They've been here all along the way. I feel like they like a particular, I'm seeing dad. They like a particular path and routine and rhythm, although they might not be great at establishing it themselves. It's someone you can learn. You know how when you're learning something new, sometimes teaching it can help solidify it or anchor it in your body more? This is the person that you can teach to kind of help keep you accountable. It's like buddy learning along the way. The second person is like a reach. It's difficult for you to associate with this person because they are so steeped in rhythm and routine, and they kind of do embody a little bit of what you don't really want to be about. I hear take some pointers from them. And more than anything else, kind of tune into the little joys that they get from their routine and rhythm in their life. And also notice how their shift of being in the correct space has really allowed them to excel. I feel like you can see a part in their life where they were not in the right place, and that when they were in the right place, and see how their scheduling and timelining ability really helped bring a richness to their life. You have this capability of holding this in your life too. You have the capability of holding such richness in your field and experience. Okay, the third one I feel is either a person or a pet that just kind of bounces all over the place and is aimless or has, I don't know, it's not like they're unhappy, but there's a certain contentment to being willy-nilly and all over the place. And recognize while this being and creature is totally happy in that vibe and realm, it's not the same for you. You want more structure, you want more routine. So recognizing some contrast here is going to help motivate you in the right direction. All right, group 1, let me know how it hits. And yeah, sending you all the love and encouragement. All right, I'll see you next week. Group 2, yellow. All right, my dears, I think that this is about rhythm and routine this week. I'm seeing a star, like a yellow star, and it's one of those, like, the edges, the points aren't crisp, they're rounded. It feels very much like reading Rainbow, or almost like, what was it, the old NBC or CBS or something, like, The More You Know. There's a star. And just a second. I love it. We're going to pull that in just a minute too. A dog just like ran up to the window outside, and their owner had to come and chase after him. So what I'm seeing is like the star shape. It can look really, like, if you make a star with this shape, it can look really random. I feel like people, the way that you move, it looks really random, but it is very on purpose. It can look erratic or sporadic, but it's very intentional, and it makes a very clear and identifiable shape. The part about the dog here is it can be easy for people to get into your path because they don't know where you're moving next, because they don't have the bird's eye view from the opening image, right? And you can't blame it on them, but you might need to be making your moves in a space where people know how to dance with you, are also dancing the same shapes, or where you just have a lot of space. And I'm not talking about like solitude, hermit nature. I'm talking about wide open spaces, right? I'm talking about like a gymnasium, a large dance floor, places where you can move around. And I'm feeling like you need to practice these movements more before you are going to be performing them in spaces with other people who dance in like-minded ways. Because there are other people who dance in similar patterns, but that's not where you're going. You're not meant to dance around people who are dancing the same pattern as you. I am seeing you dancing stars, other people doing circles, people doing rectangles and squares and stuff like this. And the point of it being is you're meant to be in an environment where you're very different from other people, where you're not surrounded by people who are all like you, but the common features that you all are taking hints from source, you all are taking clear direction very seriously, and it doesn't have to be very seriously, but you are listening. You're listening and you're having a good time. You're enjoying yourselves. You're dancing to the beat of your own drum, and you're each committed to your own drum beat, right? You're not trying to push anyone into being the shape that you are. You're exalting your own nature, and being around other people who exalt their own nature, even when it's different from yours, helps you continue to exalt your own nature. It's collaborative because the way that it's divinely orchestrated, it all happens in tune and rhythm and time, and it puts on this great creative magical performance that inspires and almost like a metronome or a pendulum. It can change the gravity of the planet. It changes the frequency. It's like subtle shifts. It's like when, oh my gosh, it's such a cool video. What is it? I think it's a metronome. Yeah, it's a bunch of different metronomes. It's a great video. I think I'll try and find it and see if I can link it in the description. But it's a bunch of different metronomes, and they're all set at different times, and they're on a table that like is wobbling a little bit, and eventually it takes some time, but they all get on the same rhythm. And this is what it has the power to do. And it's not about making sure everyone is dancing the star shape like you are. It's making sure that everyone is dancing the rhythm of their heart. So this is where it's kind of gotten convoluted. Is like, we know that we're supposed to be in sync. We know that we're supposed to be in harmony. And many of us can get misled and say like, my way is the only way to harmony. My way is the only way that we can exalt our beingness. And that's not true. It's about playing your part so well that other people have an easier time playing theirs. And everyone playing their own parts is part of that syncing, is part of that amplification that then ripples out and helps communities beyond our own to fall into their natural rhythm and routine, because they can feel it. They can feel it in their bones, because the world around them is starting to turn into a shape, is starting to be supportive of their natural rhythm and routine, even if they don't know about it from the inside, right? We want to get to the point on the planet where we can, number one, we can always listen to the insides of us and tune into that, right? And oftentimes if we tune into the outside, it can throw us off. But ideally we want to get to a place where so many people are tuned into their internal rhythm that it changes the external rhythm, and the external rhythm can influence the internal rhythm of those that are off the beat or are still trying to find their path. And it takes a commitment of all of us. So, circling back, the encouragement to continue to dance your shape, to continue to follow your internal hits, to follow your internal knowings, to follow your internal path. And to maybe soften your edges. Like, you know how the points of the star, it wasn't like super duper sharp, it's more rounded. To kind of soften your edges a little bit. You don't have to be quite so pokey and sharp. We know that other people get in your way. They know they get in your way. But you don't need to elbow them out of the way. To just soften your edges and to maybe hum your tune a little bit louder so people can hear you coming. Okay. All right, my dears. I'll see you at the end. We're going to tune into group 3. Group 3, which is green group today. Green group today. Okay, I see a 4-leaf clover, which I'm noticing that 4 and 3 is different because this is group 3 and 4, and 4-leaf clover came up. I feel like you can feel like you're ahead of the game. I feel like a fear of getting picked. Your differentness stands out, little 4-leaf clover babies. I see you, I see that. yeah, the visceral feeling of, just get that out. Like the feeling of being perceived is difficult. The feeling of being perceived comes with fear, because as a 4-leaf clover, if you're perceived, more often you're picked than not. And yeah, we're going to reframe that one. And to be picked previously has meant to be removed from your friends, or to be removed from your community where you grew up, where you exist, to be removed from your environment. And there's a lot of othering feeling that can come up there if you're separated from the herd, if you're separated from the whole. Like, that's a basic, like, pretty fearful thing to have as a human, or that's a natural fear to have. That's a pretty basic natural fear to have as a human, of being separated from the herd, being separated from where you were planted and where you grew. And the need to reframe here around, oftentimes 4-leaf clovers are picked to be preserved, to be shown and shared, and to be placed in a collection. Like, I'm seeing a collection of many 4-leaf clovers. And yeah, I feel like if I think this can look many different ways. So I'm not going to hone down on each of them too much, because you're aware of what they are. And if this is not resonating, then it's not right path. So find a different experience. But you know that already. Whatever change is happening in your life, or you're afraid of happening, this being chosen, this being seen and then picked, or the fear of being seen because it could mean you then become chosen and then you're then removed from your environment. Remember that it'll often take you to an environment that you're meant to find, that you're meant to be in, and that you chose to incarnate on this earth and on this planet at this time, because you chose to be a 4-leaf clover. You chose to be that. You chose to have that experience, not because you wanted to stay with the herd. If you wanted to stay with all the other clovers that were there, 3, 4 otherwise, right? You would have chosen a different experience, but that's not what you did. So trust yourself. Trust the inner knowing that you have in your body. Trust the knowing that you have in your body, that you put yourself here at the right place at the right time, and you chose the right outfit, you chose the right tools, you chose all the right things to be perfectly well equipped for where you're going. And I'm hearing, like, be not afraid. I think that's a Bible verse. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Going back to the clover aspect of it, there is, I feel like, physical or physiological changes that are going to happen for you when a 4-leaf clover is picked. Some are put in water, but a lot are dried out and pressed. I do feel like there is an aspect of you that is almost like a persona that's going to get lifted, or like a brand identity, or like a persona, like an expression of yourself that, compared to who you are as a whole, like, yes, feels very two-dimensional, but it's just for ease of travel, right? You can take a two-dimensional thing and share it across space and time a lot easier than taking a 3-dimensional thing and, like, teleporting it somewhere, or mailing a postcard through the mail is way easier than mailing a 3-dimensional object, right? The systems that we have right now are more well equipped to take a 2-dimensional experience and to broaden it, to share it through the masses It's not like it can't be done, right? We can obviously share three-dimensional, like you can mail packages, right? But it's just not as quick. It takes a lot more resource and energy. And right now, for the space you're at in your career or in your life or in this moment, I'm just feeling this, fear's not the right word, feeling this hesitancy or like I didn't do good enough. If you experience this two-dimensional share, like if you, let's say you have a brand, right? And like there's this fear of creatives to have their brand watered down so it can reach masses, right? So it's more packageable, or so it's more passable, or so it's more, it's okay, it's not forever, it's just to get it out there, right? Like the people who are consuming the content that you're creating are consuming the goods that you have. For this period of time, they're not meant to have the full three-dimensional version of you because they're not ready for it yet. And also you're going to be exposed to a lot of people who aren't meant to have the full dimensionality of you. It's the 2D experience is out there just to pave the pathway for those who want and need the three-dimensional experience to have a way to find you. It's literally just a numbers thing right now. So don't feel like you're losing your spark, you're losing your integrity, you're losing the full beingness of who you are. You're not. You're just getting captured from one angle. And there will be so many people, and it's the pathway to allow more people to experience the full three-dimensionality of you, of who you are. Okay, my dears, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you at the end for the collective message or next week. For you every Wednesday. All right. Group 4. All right, group 4, this is for you, group blue. And I'm just seeing a wave coming in and crashing on itself. It's one of those waves that is so tall that it crests and crashes into the trough and creates that like circular kind of tunnel. And 2 messages here, or 3 messages actually, 3, starting with a third one. Tunnel vision. You're experiencing tunnel vision right now. That's the way it's supposed to be. Just let it be. It's okay to tune other people out. You have it wants to bring your tunnel vision, wants to bring your focus on the long goal, the long game, the long version. It's cutting everything out between here and there. You're not always going to be experiencing tunnel vision. It's not a forever thing, but you need to have clarity and purpose on why you're doing what you're doing right now. You have to see the long goal, and that's why the world is kind of tunneling for you. 2, I'm seeing like the Fibonacci sequence, or like the spiral shell, the math of halves, or something like this. The spiral into self, being sacred, powerful, found in nature in many places. And a reminder that tuning into yourself and turning into yourself is a sacred process, and there is a mathematical science to it. It's striking the perfect balance, not of collapse and not like too tight and it's collapsed, too loose and you just kind of run into yourself, but that perfect circular motion that feels constructive, not destructive. So using that as your kind of like litmus test along the way of like, as you're trying to find your perfect balance of curling into yourself and finding tunnel vision, to tune into, is this feeling constructive or is this feeling destructive? And measuring that against your long-term vision and goal of, am I being constructive? Like, are my activities, is how I'm feeling serving my long-term vision that my tunnel vision is showing me? Or am I feeling self-destructive. And there is a difference of like, there are going to be some systems and habits and routines in your life that are being destroyed, that are coming apart, but those should feel like they're falling away and not like you're actively exploding them. You know what I mean? You'll know it. It's more of a feel it out thing, and I'm pretty sure you already have a pretty good idea of how this feels like in your body. If you need or want more support, or if you are like, if you need more detail on this, book a one-on-one and we'll tune into your particular energetic experience, and we'll get probably different visual tools and somatic expressions and experiences that will help you really understand what this means in your particular life. We're going to plug in this one, not any of the others. I offer channeled soul readings for individuals. This one that we're doing today is for a collective. The imagery that can come through today is still applicable to the individual, but if you're looking for direct guidance, it's something that I offer, and it is, I would say, my bread and butter, because it's just, it's so nourishing. It's so nourishing. It can feed you for quite a long time, and grow with you. All right, so that was 2 parts of the third thing. And then the third thing is like in curling into yourself, almost like this need to like wrap yourself in a blankie, and specifically like fold wrap, like a wave would, like a wave curls in on itself. Or now I'm seeing, what are those things called? They are cannolis. Cannolis are wrapped, and it's almost like, or even suit jackets, one and then the other. Bathrobes, one and then the other. I think this will have more meaning for you than it does for me right now. But just fold into yourself like this, wrap yourself up. It's almost kind of like a straitjacket feeling. And I'm reminded that straitjackets, like, truly, I know that they were originally meant to restrain people, but really what I'm hearing they're meant to do is just offer that compression and self-soothing and nervous system regulation. It's like a swaddle for a child. It's like, it's almost like going back into the womb and like having a restart. It's like, okay, go to bed, sweet one, like go to bed and start the day again. So self-soothing and swaddling is like, yes right now. And also that it's just part of that balance, right? It's like sometimes we need the robe half closed, right? It depends on the environment, right? It's like if you're in your house, having your robe half closed is probably more appropriate than having it half closed if you're on the front lawn. You know what I mean? Then you would use both sides. Okay, we've got some other things here. I'm seeing French toast. And like anything else, French toast is a process. French toast is not the kind of thing like you have to do French toast in a sequence, right? It's not like peanut butter and jelly, right? Peanut butter and jelly, like obviously you have to open up the peanut butter and open up the jelly before you spread them, right? If you ever did that activity in school where it's like you have to write the directions of how to make a peanut butter and jelly, and the sweet kids who are like, open up the peanut butter jar, just then the peanut butter jar would go on the bread. Anyway, it's about a particular sequence. Peanut butter and jelly, like you don't have to, it's like, you're not wrong if you put the jelly on first or put the peanut butter first, not the jelly. But French toast, like you low-key kind of gotta like crack the eggs and then mix up the eggs. And you have to mix up the eggs before you dip the bread in the eggs, because if you dip the bread in the eggs and they're not mixed, you come out, it's totally different. It don't work so well, right? You're in a process right now where sequence matters. And I know that you can feel frustrated of like, I just want to get this done. I just want the PB&J. And it's like, no. It's about the sequence. And it's just like a loving reminder. It's a loving reminder, and just more like a recognition of like, we see you. You do still have some creative freedom. Like, do you want to add the cinnamon to it in the egg mixture, or do you want to add that to the toast after you've put it in the egg mixture. Like, you still have creative freedom, boo, but there are some things that you have to do in a certain order, right? When you're painting a painting, like, you gotta lay the canvas down first, or you have to like prepare the canvas first before you start putting stuff on it. You still get to paint whatever you want. You still get to put, like, make whatever shape you want out of your French toast. Like, you still get to live your life how in whatever way that you want to. You just have to follow a certain sequence, and there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. One day in the future, there's a different technology and people won't even have to learn the sequence. And that is going to be kind of a sad day, because your soul came here because you kind of are into perfecting a sequence, having a sequence, running through like an obstacle course, you know, like that's something that you're good at and something that you learn to do and something that you pride yourself on. And so just the invitation of like, find pride in the sequence that you're having to learn right now, because number one, there's nothing wrong with it. Number two, you're kind of crushing it. So don't be afraid to share it with others. All right, this is a fun one for this group today. There's still more. All right, we're gonna keep with the same stuff. Don't be afraid to put a little whipped cream on top. And this is more symbolic of like, so whipped cream, especially if it's like real whipped cream, like if it's from a can, it's still probably got some dairy in there. There's a lot of sugar, but real whipped cream is made with cream, heavy cream, not just milk, but cream. It's high fat content. It keeps you full for a long time. If you have a drink with heavy cream or whole milk versus 2% or skim, it's going to keep you fuller a lot longer. This is just a reminder to like make sure you're giving yourself those like nourishing time and activities. And I'm having a feeling that you don't really have a ton of time for those nourishing time and activities. So just make sure you're using the full fat version, right? None of this watered down stuff, none of this depriving yourself, none of this saying no because you feel bad. I want you to have the full fat content of the experiences that restore you. Let people love you. Let people restore you. Let people support you, because it's your work that they want to continue to support, that they want to see you do. And even if you are not able to see your full expression yet, even if you're not able to understand the full impact that you can have, these people, even if they can't see or know it yet, they know it in their bodies and they can feel it coming on. So please just give yourself the full fat content, give yourself the full experience. Don't skimp out, and also do not get confused. Do not get sugar and heavy cream confused, because sugar can give you short bursts of energy that make you feel like you have been satiated, but they leave you feeling burnt out. Look at these social interactions in your life that feel like white sugar, white processed refined sugar. It gives you a lot of zingy energy, high, quick, but leaves you feeling depleted or exhausted after the fact. And lean more towards the experiences that may not feel so ultra easy and sugar sweet on the surface, but are so rewarding in the long run, that keep you full and keep you focused and keep you trucking along and on your journey, on that really give you the staying power for that to get you through the tunnel, all the way through the tunnel, out the other end. If you're surfing, right, and you're in one of those waves, you want to make sure that you are either far enough along that you're going fast enough. I don't know, I don't surf, but you need to make sure you want to be making it out of the tunnel before it closes. We want the same thing for you. We want you to have the staying power, to have the energy, to have the long-sightedness, the self-security, and the confidence to make it all the way through the pipeline before the opportunity closes. All right, my dears, that is it. Keep me posted, group 4. I want to know what you're doing, because it sounds kind of neato and I just want to know what is up. So feel free to share if you don't feel so comfortable publicly. That's totally fine. Find a direct message. You can always reach out to me via email or on my website. Yeah, if you want additional support, that is my specialty. I tune into your individual Akashic record and we go get the information that you need for you in particular. Yeah, and I run discounts every now and then, so just reach out and holler. And find me across a number of different platforms. We didn't say this in the other groups today. That's okay. Find me on Instagram and TikTok. And I heard Twitter, although I don't know if I'm really on there. Maybe we need to be. Anyway, reach out. Last thing for group 4. Yeah, I'm hearing like cherry gumdrop, and I'm seeing like cherry flavored gumdrops that are like gelatin, basically have like no resemblance to real food except for the sugar granules on top, and then seeing candied cherries where it's like actual real cherries that have been candied or they're like in a syrup or something, or like and then you can put them in chocolates or whatever. Just like, yeah, favoring real food, or just look, when you're looking at your options, find the one that looks the most organic. This doesn't just have to apply to food. This applies to jobs. This applies to like which one looks like something that could have existed 100 years ago, right? Or 500 years ago. Which role and responsibility looks like one that was pertinent and needed 500 years ago? Just look at this when you're making your decisions. If you're looking at clothing, which one is made out of fibers or looks like it's something that would be available 200 years ago versus something that's like a fresh new invention? Your physical somatic form is really calling for biological stability, structure, and support right now. So just use that as a little measuring stick, rule of thumb. Okay, let's go ahead and close out. Let's close out. In love and light, I thank our masters, teachers, and loved ones for their information and guidance. Amen, amen, amen. The records are closed. The last thing I see is it's not a paper airplane, but it's like a wooden airplane launcher. You know those toys? It's like very Cracker Barrel coated. Those toys were like, they'd have a rubber band, you put the little airplane on it, you pull it back, and it's essentially like a slingshot. I feel like you have been playing with something like this lately, of like you've been playing with a toy and you're like, yep, no matter how many times I shoot the airplane up, it like goes up and then it comes down and then it lands, and then you go and then you pick it up and you do it again. And I'm feeling like you're kind of getting to the end of your exhaustion for this. You're like about to time out or tune out or tap out with this toy, because it's just like, it's like the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm not having fun anymore. Well, dear, I'm seeing this plane like turn into a real airplane, and then all of a sudden you're on it and you're riding it, and this concept and belief that like you're going through the motions to understand how it works on a macro level, but soon enough you are going to be inside of it, right? Like you are going to be inside of this experience that you're practicing on the outside, that you're templating on the outside. You might be doing a lot of like drawing your ideal life or drawing the things you want, and then you're going to be inside of it. Or if you're not doing that, you can't like start doing it. Just recognize that, especially if you're feeling burnt out on your process, or like on your vision, on your path, like you feel like you're so close somewhere, whatever, remind yourself it's just a template. You're about to have a very different experience of it. And as your life starts shifting and shaping to take you out of the outside of it and to put you in the inside of it, to like, I feel like the earth feels like it's rumbling a little bit, like the earth begins to shake, the earth begins to quake, and things start slipping out of your hands and things start falling into your lap. It can feel disorienting, and I'm almost feeling like that. If you've ever seen the movie The Secret Garden, the real life movie, there's an earthquake at the beginning and it's really scary, or was really scary to me as a kid. And just this concept of like earthquakes can seem really scary, but when it comes to what we're talking about of shifting from one reality to another reality, it is transformative. And it's the reminder to self of my body is always safe. My body is always safe. My body is always safe. My physical form is always taken care of. My physical form is nourished. Only the best happens to me. Lay on your affirmations in those moments, just like if you're in an airplane and you're experiencing turbulence, or you're in an earthquake and there's nothing you can do, quite frankly, but get centered and get one with yourself to see yourself through those moments of tumult. Okay, my dears, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to share this journey with you. Again, my name is Corinne. Let me know how your life be and what's happening, and I will see you soon. All right, bye.